Legendary Passages, Episode 40. The Stars of Athens. Corona Borealis, Hercules, Lyra, and Cygnus from Hyginus Astronomica. Last time we heard how Theseus dove into the sea and was given a golden crown. Many constellations have mythic origins, including that very crown. Just above and to the left of Boötes is an arc of bright stars, here called the crown, or Corona Borealis. This is Ariadne's crown, though just how she got it is in dispute. Perhaps Liber, also known as Dionysus, gave it to her on Naxos, or Crete. One story is that Liber received it from Venus, and when he went to the underworld to rescue his mother, he left it at the entrance and used its glow to find his way back. The most common story is that she was given the crown by Theseus. When sailing to Crete with the tribute of boys and girls, King Minos lusted after the maid, Eriboea. Theseus stopped him, so Minos dared him to get a ring he tossed overboard. Jumping in, Theseus was taken by the dolphins to the Nereids. There he received the crown from Thetis, wife of Peleus, or from Amphitrite, wife of Neptune. Either way, the crown was placed in the stars by Liber. To the left of Ursa Major, Boötes, and Corona Borealis is the kneeler, known to us as Hercules. Or perhaps it is Theseus, lifting the boulder that hides his father's sword and sandals. Nearby is the constellation Lyra. This is the same instrument that was played by Orpheus, the famous musician and Argonaut. His wife was bitten by a snake and died, so he went to the underworld to retrieve her, but failed. Heartbroken, he would love no other woman, so Thracian women, or priestesses of Boötes, tore him to pieces. Beside Lyra is Cygnus the swan, the northern cross. Jupiter, in the form of a swan, fathered Helen of Troy, whom Theseus would later abduct. Here, Helen's mother is given to be Nemesis, goddess of retribution, and merely raised by Leda, daughter of Theseus and queen of Sparta. Next time we shall hear more of Ariadne, she who would have been queen of Athens. The Stars of Athens, a legendary passage from Hyginus Astronomica, translated by Mary Grant. Crown. This is thought to be Ariadne's crown, placed by Father Liber among the constellations. For they say when Ariadne wed Liber on the island of Dia, and all the gods gave her wedding gifts, she first received this crown as a gift from Venus and the Hours. But, as the author of the Crete says, at the time when Liber came to Minos with the hope of lying with Ariadne, he gave her this crown as a present. Delighted with it, she did not refuse the terms. It is said, too, to have been made of gold and Indian gems, and by its aid Theseus is thought to have come from the gloom of the labyrinth to the day, for the gold and gems made a glow of light in the darkness. But those who wrote Argolica give the following reason. When Liber received permission from his father to bring back his mother Semele from the lower world, and in seeking a place of descent, he came to the land of Argives, certain Hypolipnus met him, a man worthy of that generation, who was to show the entrance to Liber in answer to his request. However, when Hypolipnus saw him, a mere boy in years, excelling all others in remarkable beauty of form, he asked from him the reward that could be given without loss. Liber, however, eager for his mother, swore that if he brought her back, he would do as he wished, on terms, though, that a god could swear to a shameless man. At this, Hypolipnus showed the entrance. So then, when Liber came to that place and was about to descend, he left the crown, which he had received as a gift from Venus, at that place, which in consequence is called Stephanos, for he was unwilling to take it with him, for fear the immortal gift of the gods would be contaminated by contact with the dead. When he brought his mother back unharmed, he is said to have placed the crown in the stars as an everlasting memorial. Others say this is the crown of Theseus, and for the following reason placed near him, for the constellation called Kneeler is thought to be Theseus. We shall speak later about him. It is said that when Theseus came to Crete to Minos with 7 maidens and 7 youths, Minos, inflamed by the beauty of one of the maidens, Eriboea by name, wished to lie with her. Theseus, as was fitting for a son of Neptune, and one able to strive against a tyrant for a girl's safety, refused to allow this. So when the dispute became one not about the girl but about the parentage of Theseus, whether he was the son of Neptune or not, Minos is said to have drawn a gold ring from his finger and cast it into the sea. He bade Theseus bring it back, if he wanted to believe he was the son of Neptune. As for himself, he could easily show he was a son of Jove. So, invoking his father, he asked for some sign to prove he was his son, and straightway thunder and lightning gave token of assent. For a similar reason, Theseus, without any invoking of his father or obligation of an oath, cast himself into the sea. And at once a great swarm of dolphins, tumbling forward over the sea, led him gently through the swelling waves to the Nereids. From them he brought back the ring of Minos and a crown, bright with many gems, from Thetis, which she had received at her wedding as a gift from Venus. Others say that the crown came from the wife of Neptune, and Theseus is said to have given it to Ariadne as a gift, when on account of his valor and courage she was given to him in marriage. After Ariadne's death, Liber placed it among the constellations. The Kneeler. Eratosthenes says that he is Hercules, placed above the dragon we have already mentioned, and prepared to fight, with his left hand holding his lion skin, and his right the club. He is trying to kill the dragon of the Hesperides, which, it is thought, never was overcome by sleep or closed its eyes, thus offering more proof it was placed there as a guard. Peleus in the Heraclea says of the sign that Jupiter, in admiration of their struggle, placed it among the stars. For the dragon has its head erect, and Hercules, resting on his right knee, tries to crush the right side of its head with his left foot. His right hand is up and striking, his left extended with the lion skin, and he appears to be fighting with all his strength. Although Aratus says no one can prove who he is, nevertheless we shall try to show that we can say something reasonable. Aratus, as we have said, calls this figure Theseus, son of Lycaon, and father of Megisto. He seems to be lamenting the change of his daughter to bare form, kneeling on one knee, and holding up outstretched hands to heaven, asking for the gods to restore her to him. Agesnianax, however, says that he is Theseus, who seems to be lifting the stone at Trozen. Aegeus is thought to have put sandals and a sword under it, and warned Aethra, the mother, not to send him to Athens until he could lift the stone by his own strength and bring the sword to his father, and so he seems to try to lift the stone as high as he can. In this connection, too, some have said that the lyre, placed nearest this sign, is the lyre of Theseus, for he was skillful in all the arts, and seems to have learned the lyre as well. This too Anacreon says, near Theseus, son of Aegeus, is the lyre. Others call him Thamyrus, blinded by the Muses, kneeling as a supplicant. Others Orpheus, killed by the Thracian women because he looked on the rites of Father Liber. But Aeschylus, in the play entitled Prometheus Laomenos, says that he is Hercules, fighting not with the dragon, but with the Ligurians. For he says at the time Hercules was driving away the cattle of Geryon, a journey through the territory of the Ligurians. They joined forces in trying to take the herd from him, and pierced many of the beasts with arrows. But after Hercules' weapons failed, worn out by the number of barbarians and lack of arms, he fell to his knees, already suffering from many wounds. Jove, however, out of pity for his son, provided that there should be a great supply of stones around him. With these Hercules defended himself and put the enemy to flight. And so Jove put the image of his fighting form among the constellations. Again, some have said he is Ixion, with his arms bound, because he tried to attack Juno. Others say he is Prometheus, bound on Mount Caucasus. Lyre. The lyre was put among the constellations for the following reason, as Eratosthenes says. Made at first by Mercury from a tortoise shell, it was given to Orpheus, son of Calliope and Oeagrus, who was passionately devoted to music. It is thought that by his skill he could charm even wild beasts to listen. When, grieving for his wife Eurydice, he descended to the lower world, he praised the children of the gods in his song, all except Father Liber. Him he overlooked and forgot, as Oeneus did Diana in sacrifice. Afterwards, then, when Orpheus was taking delight in song, seated, as many say, on Mount Olympus, which separates Macedonia from Thrace, or on Pangaeum, as Eratosthenes says, Liber is said to have roused the Bacchanals against him. They slew him and dismembered his body. But others say that this happened because he had looked on the rites of Liber. The Muses gathered the scattered limbs and gave them burial, and as the greatest favor they could confer, they put as a memorial his lyre, pictured with stars, among the constellations. Apollo and Jove consented, for Orpheus had praised Apollo highly, and Jupiter granted his favor to his daughter. Others say that when Mercury first made the lyre on Mount Cyllene in Arcadia, he made it with 7 strings to correspond to the number of Atlantides, since Maia, his mother, was of their company. Later, when he had driven away the cattle of Apollo and had been caught in the act, to win pardon more easily, at Apollo's request, he gave him permission to claim the invention of the lyre, and received from him a certain staff as reward. When Mercury, holding it in his hand, was journeying to Arcadia, and saw 2 snakes with bodies intertwined, apparently fighting, he put down the staff between them. They separated then, and so he said that the staff had been appointed to bring peace. Some, in making catechai, put 2 snakes intertwined on a rod, because this seemed to Mercury a bringer of peace. Following his example, they used the staff in athletic contests and other contests of this kind. But to return to the subject at hand, Apollo took the lyre, and is said to have taught Orpheus on it, and after he himself had invented the cithara, he gave the lyre to Orpheus. Some also have said that Venus and Proserpina came to Jove for his decision, asking him to which of them he would grant Adonis. Calliope, the judge appointed by Jove, decided that each should possess him half the year. But Venus, angry because she had not been granted what she thought was her right, stirred the women in Thrace by love, each to seek Orpheus for herself, so that they tore him limb from limb. His head, carried down from the mountain into the sea, was cast by the waves upon the island of Lesbos. It was taken up and buried by the people of Lesbos, and in return for this kindness, they have the reputation of being exceedingly skilled in the art of music. The lyre, as we have said, was put by the Muses among the stars. Some say that because Orpheus first favored love for youths, he seemed to insult women, and for this reason they killed him. Swan. The sign the Greeks call the swan, but others, out of ignorance of the story, have called it ornis, the general term for bird. This reason for the name has been handed down. When Jupiter, moved by desire, had begun to love Nemesis, and couldn't persuade her to lie with him, he relieved his passion by the following plan. He bade Venus, in the form of an eagle, pursue him. He, changed to a swan, as if in flight from the eagle, took refuge with Nemesis, and lighted in her lap. Nemesis did not thrust him away, but holding him in her arms, fell into a deep sleep. While she slept, Jupiter embraced her, and then flew away. Because he was seen by men flying high in the sky, they said he was put in the stars. To make this reality true, Jupiter put the swan flying and the eagle pursuing in the sky. But Nemesis, as if wedded to the tribe of birds, when her months were ended, bore an egg. Mercury took it away and carried it to Sparta and threw it in Leda's lap. From it sprang Helen, who excelled all other girls in beauty. Leda called her own daughter. Others say that Jove, in the form of a swan, lay with Leda. We shall leave the matter undecided.